5 straight days of confirmed severe weather threats across this country and tonight. Saturday, March 7th, we are sitting dead in the middle of that stretch. A tornado touched down over a frozen lake in Michigan just yesterday, and the exact same system that powered that storm is still loaded up and moving east right now. Hey everyone, Tom Harley here. Happy Saturday night. And a heads up that tomorrow is International Women's Day, March 8th, so before we get into anything, a big shout out to all the incredible women watching right now. I pulled up the models this evening, and what I saw made me put down my coffee because the storm that is going to matter most this week has not happened yet. And I want to make sure you know exactly when and where. But first, right now, tonight. Saturday, March 7th, there is still an active severe weather threat on the board for a wide swath of this country. And I do not want a single person in that zone to think the worst is behind us, because it is not. Here is the setup. A cut-off low-pressure system has been parked down off the coast of Baja California for days, just sitting there, spinning, loading up energy like a coiled spring, and it has been the engine behind everything we have seen this week. That Baja low, as the meteorology community calls it, has been pumping a fire hose of warm, moist air straight up out of the Gulf of Mexico, and in front of it you have got a big, aggressive boundary draped across the entire country from coast to coast. The reason I want you to understand the Baja low specifically is this: it is not gone. It is not done. And by Monday, it gets kicked loose by an incoming upper-level trough, which is meteorologist language for the spring is about to uncoil directly into the central United States. I have been watching setups like this for a long time. And what makes me uncomfortable about this particular one is how clean the models look for Tuesday. Both the European and the American GFS agree. 6 days out, on the same track, the same corridor, and the same level of instability. When two major global models agree that far out, that is not noise, that is signal. And the signal is pointing squarely at Tuesday, March 10th, for what could be the most significant severe weather day of this entire week. More on that in a moment, because today needs your attention first. Tonight's threat is a squall line, and squall lines are, in my opinion, the most underestimated severe weather setup there is. Here is why. With a classic tornado outbreak, you can often see the storm coming from miles away. A squall line buries its tornadoes inside rain. You cannot see them until they are on top of you. The highest tornado threat tonight runs from Pittsburgh through Akron, Canton, Columbus, Zanesville, and into extreme northern West Virginia. That corridor has the most wind shear in the country right now, meaning the atmosphere has everything it needs to spin a storm up fast and wrap it in rain before anyone sees it. Charleston, West Virginia. I need you to hear this specifically. The NWS has flagged you for thunderstorm and tornado risk tonight. Winds are already gusting to 20 to 30 miles per hour. This is not a drill. This is not a watch it from the porch situation. This is find your lowest floor and your interior room before these storms arrive. Pittsburgh, you are in it too. Storms going severe tonight with that embedded tornado threat I mentioned. I know y'all had a tough week up there already. This is round 2 of a very bad few days for the Ohio Valley. Columbus at 50 degrees right now this evening. The storms roll through your area tonight. You are right on the edge of that highest shear zone, which means a wrap tornado is absolutely on the table. Keep the volume on your phone alerts cranked up. Do not turn it to silent, not tonight. Atlanta at 78 degrees with south winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour. The NWS has flagged localized tornado and severe thunderstorm risk for North Georgia tonight. Birmingham at 76 degrees is watching the same thing. Y'all down in the deep south? It does not feel like severe weather outside right now, and that is exactly the trap, warm and breezy before a squall line is the calm, before the curtain drops. Let me stop here because I have a genuine question for you, and I read every single comment. Are you hunkering down today or riding it out? One-word comment. Hunkering or riding it out? I want to know where people's heads are at right now. All right, tonight. As the sun goes down, the squall line starts to lose steam across the northern half. But the southern tier is a different story. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and the Gulf Coast of Texas hold instability well into the night. Do not close the weather app. Just because it gets dark. By midnight, the main line is mostly broken up. Some leftover thunderstorms linger into the Gulf Coast states through early Sunday morning. The Mid-Atlantic sees some leftover showers. And then, genuinely, tomorrow, Sunday, is a relative breather. Relative. I want to be honest about that word. Tomorrow's marginal risk sits over the Carolinas and Virginia Charlotte, Raleigh, Virginia Beach, Newport News, the Triangle area, lower end, not zero. The primary threats if storms fire. Sunday afternoon are straight-line winds and some hail. Charlotte at 76 degrees right now. Raleigh at 79. It is gorgeous outside tonight. And that warmth is exactly what storms need to fire tomorrow afternoon. Here is something that genuinely gets my attention about the rain picture. Over the next 10 days, we are looking at 3 to 6 inches of rain across a wide swath of this country. And this is important. East Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas are already dealing with saturated ground from earlier this week. 3 to 6 more inches on top of soil that cannot absorb any more water is a flash flood problem that is independent of the tornado threat. If you live in a low-lying area in East Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, or Mississippi, I want you to know your evacuation route before Wednesday, not at 2 in the morning when the creek is rising. That is not a drill. That is the kind of thing that catches people off guard every single spring. Now, Monday the 9th. Most of us catch a genuine break, some thunderstorms possible across the Gulf states and southeast, but broadly Monday is the pause between two separate systems, and I need you to use that window on purpose. Monday is the day to charge every device in your house. Monday is the day to grab the flashlights and check the batteries. Monday is the day to sit down with whoever is in your home, your spouse, your kids, your elderly mom, and physically walk to your shelter spot so everyone knows where to go Tuesday night without thinking. Because Tuesday. March 10th, this is the one I was talking about at the top of the video. The Baja Low gets kicked into the plains by Monday. The jet stream snaps back into a textbook severe weather configuration, and Gulf moisture surges north again. Essentially the same recipe as this week reloaded and served fresh. The SPC has already placed a 15% severe weather probability for Tuesday, and I want you to understand what that number actually means. Because I hear people dismiss it, within 25 miles of any point in that zone. There is a 15% probability of a severe weather report. Across the entire corridor from Texas to Illinois, that translates to a very active outbreak day. And multiple meteorologists, myself included, would not be surprised to see that upgraded to at least an enhanced risk as Tuesday gets closer. The upper level setup is favorable. The instability is there. The wind shear is there. The question is timing, not weather. Tuesday's corridor: Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. That is 11 states. Cities like Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Topeka, Joplin, Springfield, Little Rock, Memphis, and Nashville are all sitting inside or near that zone. Dallas. Fort Worth, you are drying out tonight after a tough week. I know it feels like it is over. It is not over. Tuesday afternoon and evening, you are back in it. Same for Oklahoma City at 64 degrees tonight. You had storms roll through your city around midnight earlier this week, and now Tuesday lines you up for round 2. Kansas City at 54 degrees tonight. Clearing out Tuesday's system has your metro squarely in the threat zone. Wichita at 56, Des Moines at 48. Both of you are in the Tuesday corridor. The Plains states need to be fully locked in by Monday night. Not Tuesday morning when the storms are already firing. Little Rock at 64 degrees tonight. Sunshine right now. I know it feels like you got your beating this week and you are done. You are not done. Tuesday puts you back in a significant threat area. Memphis at 68 degrees. Dry and gorgeous tonight, same deal. Jackson, Mississippi at 74, y'all too. I am sorry. I wish I had better news. Here is what makes Tuesday especially concerning to me personally, and I am going to be straight about this. Tuesday's threat does not clear out Tuesday night. It keeps going. This is primarily an overnight threat for parts of the corridor. which means storms rolling through while people are asleep in the dark with no warning they can see out the window. An overnight severe weather event is, in my experience, the most dangerous kind. Not the strongest. The most dangerous. People are asleep. The sirens might not wake everyone. The dog does not understand what the alert means. This is why I am telling you right now. Tonight, Saturday night, to get those phone alerts set up loud, not before you go to sleep Tuesday. Right now. Wednesday, March 11th, the threat shifts east. Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and southwestern New York are all in the Wednesday picture. The low for Tuesday night is expected to be intense. Sitting near Toronto, with Arctic air right on its heels, warm, humid air ahead of that front meeting cold, dry air behind it, is a collision that does not go quietly. Cincinnati at 52 degrees tonight with gusty winds already. Wednesday's system tracks right through the Ohio Valley. Cleveland at 46, Pittsburgh at 52 after tonight's threat. Both of you come up again on Wednesday. I know that feels relentless, and I understand because it is relentless. This pattern is genuinely loaded up in a way I do not see every year. Thursday, March 12th, the eastern seaboard enters the picture. Virginia, Maryland, the Mid-Atlantic, coastal states. Timing of the cold front arrival matters enormously here if it arrives during afternoon heating hours. The risk elevates significantly if it blows through before noon. It is lower end. That timing is still being ironed out, and I will have a specific update on Thursday's setup midweek. Washington, D.C. at 58 degrees tonight. By Wednesday and Thursday, your area comes into the picture on the eastern end of this pattern. Baltimore at 56 degrees with the same story. Philadelphia at 54, you are on the trailing edge. Keep watching the updates midweek because Thursday's risk level for the Mid-Atlantic is genuinely uncertain right now. And this is where the story takes a turn that I genuinely want you to hear after Thursday's cold front sweeps through. We do not reload the severe weather pattern. Something different is coming behind it. Temperatures right now are running 20 to 30 degrees above normal across the eastern U.S., some spots hitting 40 above. That is what has been fueling all of this. But by Thursday the 12th, colder air starts pushing in 5 to 15 degrees below normal in some areas. Not dramatic, but it is the beginning of the end of this warm stretch. And then around the 16th, 17th, 18th, both the European and GFS models are showing a more major Arctic air intrusion. Major trough in the east, major ridge in the west, cold air pushing far enough south that the question of snow becomes legitimate even for some areas that have not seen it in a while. Here is the line that stopped me when I saw it in the model data this evening. Michigan had a violent tornado touchdown over an icy lake yesterday. Friday, March 6th, destroying homes and taking lives. And right now, the models are showing snow probabilities rising again for Michigan and the Great Lakes by the weekend of the 14th and 15th. Tornado one weekend, possible snowstorm the next. That is March in America in 2026, folks. For my folks up in Milwaukee at 40 degrees tonight. Minneapolis at 36, St. Paul at 35. You already feel the cold side of this pattern, and it gets more entrenched after the 12th. Detroit at 42 degrees with thick clouds tonight. Snow's coming back for you by mid-month, no question. Buffalo at 42 degrees right now with a high wind warning already in effect. Winds gusting 25 to 40 miles per hour with rain and snow mixing in Buffalo. You are already living the preview of what hits the northern tier mid-month. This is not your last taste of winter, not by a long shot. For folks in the Northeast hoping spring has locked in for good, I do not want to be the bearer of bad news. But the models are saying hold up. Boston at 46 degrees tonight with cold rain. New York at 52 with showers after this week's severe weather stretch clears out by late Thursday. The Arctic pattern sets up. Enjoy the warmth while it is here. Now the 2-week bottom line in plain English. This week through Thursday, 5 days of rotating severe weather threats moving systematically from west to east across the country. 3 to 6 inches of rain. Flash flood risk for already saturated areas in the south. Tuesday, overnight, is the single biggest concern. After Thursday, the pattern flips. Cold air arrives, severe weather winds down, and the northern tier starts watching for snow by the 13th and 14th, then around the 16th to 19th. The major Arctic intrusion, and both models agree on this, brings a genuine late-season winter threat, well south of the usual snow belt. This week is also Severe Weather Preparedness Week in states including South Carolina and Indiana, and I cannot think of a more fitting week in recent memory for that to land on. So let me give you 3 things that actually matter, not a laminated checklist on your fridge. Number 1, your phone alerts. Loud. Tonight. The Tuesday overnight window means you need your phone to wake you up, not the TV, not a neighbor knocking on your door. Your phone. Go into settings right now and make sure emergency alerts are on. The volume is maxed, and it is not on Do Not Disturb. Number 2, your shelter spot. Decided before you need it. Lowest floor, interior room, no windows, a bathroom, a hallway, a closet under the stairs. It takes 30 seconds to decide, and it saves critical seconds when you are scared at midnight and the sirens are going. Decide it now. Tell everybody in your house. Done. Number 3, think about one person in your life who is probably not watching this. An older neighbor, a relative in Oklahoma, a college kid in an apartment in Nashville or Memphis. Tuesday is a night where that one text message from you saying, "Hey, get your alerts on tonight," could genuinely matter. Send it Monday evening. Do not forget. The lesson from Three Rivers. Michigan. Where that tornado hit yesterday and took lives is not that severe weather is everywhere all the time and you should panic. The lesson is that a marginal risk is not a probably fine risk. It is a real risk that landed on a real town that was not expecting to be in anyone's highlight reel. Take every single level of the scale seriously. All right, one more question before I go. And I want a real answer. Drop one word in the comments. Are you more worried about this week's tornado threat or mid-March's cold and snow comment tornadoes or snow? I am going to pin the top answer and use it to shape tomorrow's update. Also, drop your city below if you want me to address it specifically in tomorrow's video. I am building a list of places people want detailed local forecasts for. If enough people from the same metro comment, I will dedicate a full segment to it. Your city might be the one that tips it. Here is what I am watching after I post this. The Sunday morning model run drops in a few hours, and the one thing I am specifically tracking is whether Tuesday's low-pressure system tracks north or south of Joplin, Missouri. That 50-mile difference is the difference between a significant outbreak and a catastrophic one for the Tuesday corridor. I will have that answer first thing tomorrow morning, Sunday, March 8th. That is what I have got for you tonight. Tom Harley, stay safe, stay alert. And if you are in the path of anything tonight or this week, please look out for the people around you. We will talk again tomorrow morning with that model update. Take care out there, everybody.